In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your old hard drive with a new SSD. I have an iMac late 2013, so it was running really slow. So I decided to replace the hard drive with an SSD drive. So I went to maxsales.com and I ordered the OWC Mercury Extreme Pro 6G, which is the one that I'm supposed to be using for my iMac late 2013. You would have to go on the website and look up which SSD best fits your iMac or MacBook Pro or whatever Apple computer you have. You have to go to your computer and go to About This Mac, and it's going to show you what year your computer is. And once you know that, you can go back to the website and look up the hard drive for that one computer. So as you can see, these are all the tools that came with it. I bought the entire kit. I didn't just buy the hard drive because I needed the kit to open the display and replace it. So you get all these items with the kit. You have the adhesive tape, the removable tools, the thing to hold the display. So it's only $10 or $20 more than the original price of just the hard drive. I ended up paying $259 for the entire kit, but it's money well worth it, well spent. So you start with the tool that you use to open a display. You just go around the entire display. Um, I think I went over it like twice just to make sure that you go through the entire adhesive that the display already has in there. And once you know that you'll feel it, you'll know because the tool will move faster than before, then you can just remove the display. Once you remove it, do not lift it really high because there's two cables that you have to unplug. There's video cables. So the first one you can just pull out, which is a short cable. The other one has this little thing that you pull up and then you unplug it. Just be careful with that. Don't break it, okay? Because if you break it, then you might have to order a whole new display. So once you remove the display, you're going to have adhesive on the bottom of the display. So you go on the side of the display and you pull it. Make sure that you do that. You do the same thing on both sides because the other side has it as well. So once you remove that, you'll be ready to just remove the display. Make sure that you have a cloth. Like my computer, as you can see, I cover my desk with a big towel just to work on it, and so that my display or my computer doesn't get scratched or damaged. So once I removed the adhesive, I just went back with the tool and just make sure that there's no more adhesive holding the display. So I set it to the side. Once you have the computer laying flat, you're going to see the first thing you have to do is you have to remove the speakers. You don't necessarily have to remove the entire thing. I just unscrew the two screws that you see there. So I had a little problem removing them with my fingers because I have no fingernails. So I had a problem like grabbing those little screws. So what I did, I just like unscrewed the speaker and set it to the side. I just moved it a little bit to the side, and that's all you need. You don't need to remove the whole thing. Just unscrew it and move it to the side and just leave it. Once you move the speaker to the side, you're gonna see this little bracket that holds the hard drive down. You have to remove the screws that are at the bottom. Make sure that you don't lose the screws because you're gonna need them. You have to use the same screws to put the new SSD back in place where the old one is. So you remove the screws, Make sure, like I said, that they don't get stuck underneath all the components of the computer. So it would really suck if one of those starts like or gets lost underneath all those things, because you're gonna have to find a way to take it out. So once you do that, you remove that bracket that's holding the the hard drive. From there, you can just remove the hard drive and unplug it. You can just pull it, and once you pull that, it'll be unplugged. Now, the hard drive has screws. Well, the old hard drive has like 4 screws that you're gonna have to unscrew from the old one, because the new one's gonna need them. So now you take the new hard drive, the SSD, and you put it on that one bracket that it came with, because the new SSD is very small compared to the original one. So it comes with a little mounting bracket, and what you do is you plug it in, and then you take those little screws that came in a little bag, and you put them on the back, so that the SSD doesn't move around and it's hold very tight in place. Once again, because my fingers, I have no fingernails, so it's really difficult for me to hold these little screws, or to put them where they're supposed to go, because I can't hold on to them. So as you can see, I was having a little problem putting them in their little hole. But once you get them in there, they're easy to screw. I only use 4. I know it came with like 6, I think, but I only use 4 screws. I think that's all you needed. I don't know what the other 2 were for. Maybe they were just replacements, just in case you lost 1 or 2. But I only use 4, and I think that's all. That's all you pretty much need. So now, like I said, you have to remove those screws from the old hard drive, because you're gonna have to put them on the mounting bracket of the new SSD. So you go to both sides and remove those, and you're gonna place them on the new one, because these 4 little screws are what's going to be holding the new SSD in place once mounted. I'm doing this very slow, just for you to see. I'm not a professional, so I know you could find videos from professionals on how they did it, but they do it so perfectly, they don't make any mistakes. So I'm just doing it, and I'm showing you this for me to show you, the problems that I had to go through while doing this. Maybe you're going to go through the same problems, so you can learn from my mistakes, and hopefully you won't have to go through it like I did, and hopefully this video is going to help you to not make those mistakes. Once again, make sure the screws are placed back on the new SSD mounting bracket. Make sure that they're very tight, they're not loose, because this is what going to hold the SSD in place. So once you do that, you can go ahead and put the SSD with the red part facing forward towards you. Before that, you can put back the mounting bracket, the little mounting bracket that you removed from the old one, because you're gonna have to screw that back on the computer. So as you can see, you have to put the screws that you put back on this bracket back in those holes. Um, they have like this little cushion, so once you get them in that hole, just like push them in, make sure that it's tight, and make sure that the holes on that bracket on the right hand side, the one that just fell off, as you can see, I had a little problem there. Make sure that it's very tight, and you put the screws. Once you screw it in, it's not going to move at all. So as long as you put them in the right place, you won't have any problem with SSD ever moving. I had to be very careful here because, you know, I can't hold on to those screws with my fingers, so I had to go in there and put them in the hole like carefully so that I wouldn't lose the screws. So now that the SSD is mounted and is very tight, you can grab that cable that came with the SSD, you can plug it to the SSD and then connect it to the computer. Now that it's plugged in, you take there's this cable there. You're gonna see this little cable. This it has like very thin wires. That's for that. I think that's the sensor that overheating sensor, or I think that's what it's called. So that little sensor has an adhesive. It has like a little tape. So you peel it off and you put it on the metal part of the SSD. Make sure that you put it closer to where you connect it, but just make sure that you glue it onto the side, not on the blue part. You glue it onto whatever is black. Do not glue it on anything that says Pro 6G. Just make sure that it's glued on the metal part of the SSD drive. Once that's plugged in, you can make sure that the thing that you use to plug the hard drive, you can kind of like fold it and put it underneath so that it doesn't move or it's not just hanging around. As you can see, I just kind of like bend it and kind of like place it underneath the SSD so it's just not hanging around, and then after that you can just like screw the speakers back in place. Once again, I had a little problem here screwing the screws. Hopefully you won't have to go through that. So now everything is mounted, the speaker is mounted, SSD drive is mounted, everything is plugged in perfectly the way it should be. So now you have to remove all that tape, all that double-sided tape that was left on the side of the computer from when you remove the display. You have to make sure that this is removed properly. I'm going to tell you what just happened. I made this video about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I forgot to do this voiceover so that I can upload it to YouTube. So as I'm talking to you right now, I have my display taped up with blue tape on the side because my display fell off out of the blue from my computer last night. This is like 3 weeks after I put this whole thing together. What happened was, you are not supposed to use the computer right away when you put everything back together. When you put the adhesive tape, the double-sided tape, back on the display, and you seal it and everything is working perfectly, you're supposed to like leave the computer at least facing up, like on its back, for at least 8 to 10 hours, so that the tape can glue itself properly the way it should. I did it like right after I finished this, putting the display together. I started using my computer. I formatted my computer, and that's it. Like, I thought it was perfect. I guess the glue didn't stick properly, and like I said, last night, out of the blue, my display just fell off. I was watching TV, and all of a sudden I heard like a loud sound, and I had no clue what it was. I just kept watching TV. And then I came into my office, and luckily the display fell on my chair, which has a cushion, and it didn't break. So this is something that you have to make sure that you peel the whatever tape, double-sided tape is on the screen, and try to use like a little bit of rubbing alcohol to remove it perfectly, to clean it really good. Once you do that, once you know that the tape has been removed, and then dry it with a cloth so that the alcohol is not on the display, just like on the side where exactly where the tape is. Once it's dried, once everything is perfectly clean, then you can go on and start applying the double-sided tapes like I'm about to show you in a few minutes. I didn't do this, as you can see. As you can see, I just removed the tape. Yeah, I cleaned it up pretty well. I thought I did, but apparently I didn't. I'm removing now the tape on the display. My display is facing down on a cloth on the table so that I won't damage my display. Make sure you go around, you removed every bit of double-sided tape that the display has, as well as the back of the monitor. I really don't want you to have to wake up one day and see your display on the ground broken, pretty much like what happened to me last night. By the way, this happened, and I called MacSales.com, and they were kind enough. They sent me a replacement adhesive tape. So that should be coming in the mail this week, and I'm gonna have to do what I'm doing right now again. It doesn't take that long. You just have to make sure that you do it properly. So now that I'm going to apply the tape, the double-sided tape that came with all the items that I ordered, they have like a little diagram, and it's going to show you how to apply the double-sided tape and how to do it. So in this little part here, I kind of like did it. I didn't do it the right way, in a way, because that part that I'm peeling right now, number 11, should have gone on the right side or on the left side. Since I have the monitor upside down, that should have gone on the other side. It really doesn't matter because it's kind of like it's asymmetrical, you know, so you can use it on either side. Just make sure that your the blue tapes, you see those little blue tapes, those are the ones that you're gonna have to peel off once you put all the double-sided tape down, because once you peel those off, the tape, the adhesive, has to be facing up so that when you put a display back on it, that's what's going to to get stuck on the display. So even though I was supposed to use that one on the other side, like I said, it really doesn't matter as long as you have the right side of those like blue strips facing up, so that when you peel that one part and you put the display, the the tape will be ready to be the right side of the double-sided tape. You know, it should be facing up, the part that's sticky. You just do it. Be careful when you apply this double-sided tape. You know, just make sure that you don't ruin it, because if you do, then you're gonna have to order a new set. I've seen some people using Gorilla double-sided tape, but you would have to cut it yourself. Cut it like into thin little strips like these, and you know, like make sure that you do it like properly. Make sure that you press on it really hard so that it sticks. That it sticks like very hard to the back of the monitor. And you can do it since you haven't peeled off like the top part of the double-sided tape. Those are the ones, like I said, you're gonna peel off like right before you place the monitor back on it. Before I apply the tape, I kind of like did that. I put it next to the part that I was going to apply it to, just to make sure that it fit properly, that it matches. Once I did that, I went and then I peeled off the bottom part, and I started by placing one end, stretching it, and then with my finger I would like press on it, and then I would peel the second part, and I would hold the other end so that it doesn't stick to the monitor. I would like pretty much pull on it tight. You can see how tight I'm pulling, and with my finger I'm just like going down and making sure that it's gluing properly. And then I would do that again. I would pull it and make sure that the tape is being aligned with the edge of the back of the monitor. Once I put it down, I went back again with my finger and pressed on the tape just to make sure that it's glued properly on the edge. Once again, I started with one end. I stretched the tape, pressed on it, make sure that everything is being aligned as I'm laying the tape down, and I'm going with my finger. It looks a little hard, but you know, it's once you do the first one, you'll get used to it. Just make sure that the tape is it's put down like properly and everything is aligned. So now you have to go to the monitor and apply tape at the bottom of the monitor. This is a little bit easier than the one on the back of the monitor. This is just one straight tape on one end, on one side, and the same thing on the other side. The way you can tell which one is the bottom or which one is the part, obviously the camera hole. This is the bottom part of the monitor. So you just align it. Make sure that you put down one end first and then the other one. For some reason, I try to peel that blue tape, which is not the one that you're supposed to peel. You're supposed to peel the white little strip to remove the top part of the adhesive tape. Make sure that this tape is not coming off the bottom part of the edge of the display, because it's going to show. So make sure that it's aligned properly. So now that you have the tape on the back of the monitor and the display, you can start peeling off the top part of the double-sided tape on the monitor and the display. So now you're ready to pretty much put the display back together, and hopefully everything is working properly once you plug the computer. Make sure that you remove all of those little strips. Everything has to look black at the end. See, I don't know why I just kept trying to pull on that blue strip. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to pull on the white one. There you go. You do the same thing for the other side. So now you have the display. Make sure you put the bottom part first. Align it perfectly as you can. The way I did it, look, if you see my left hand, I'm using one of my fingers to feel the edge of the display so that it's aligning with the back of the monitor and the edge of the display, so that everything is aligned properly. And I push down on the monitor so that it's aligned properly with the display. So make sure that you plug both cables, both video cables. Once you plug them back in, you can lower down the display. The longer cable was a little bit harder to plug back in, but make sure that you plug it and then you lock the little lock-in mechanism that the cable has. Once it's locked, it should be okay. So I lower down the display. These things that were holding down the display were like a little bit difficult to remove. The suction cups, is that what you call them? Maybe there's an easier way to remove them. As you can see, I kind of like struggle. What I did right here, I went with the cloth and I went around the edge, holding, kind of like doing it very tight so that the glue would stick down, so that the display would stick to the monitor. I went around the entire. I kind of struggle on removing these suction cups, but once you remove it, you should be able to turn the computer on. And once you turn the computer on, you can see a little folder with a question mark. That means the computer is ready to go. Now all you have to do is format the computer, which I'm going to show you in another video how to do it. Please subscribe to my channel, hit like, and I'll see you in the next video on how to format this computer. Thank you.